Okay, so as we dig into some of our form shooting, one thing that's really helped me as far as getting my wrist loaded early on the shot is this simple drill, this simple technique. And I've seen it a couple different places. And at first I was a little skeptical myself until I tried it out. And it's really helped me improve how I get my wrist loaded early before I get the basketball up and moving into my shot. Because a lot of players, they'll be real flat wrist. And as they start to bring the basketball up, they'll load their wrist really late. And there's some good shooters that shoot that way. I just think it's harder because the timing of it has to be so perfect as far as going from a flat wrist to loaded and then boom, extending out in your follow through compared to somebody who gets their wrist loaded early and then gets up and out into the shot. And especially for somebody like myself who doesn't have a lot of flexibility, you'll hear coaches say you got to get about 90 degrees with your wrist. Well, mine's like 45 degrees. That's about as far back as it goes. So for me to really concentrate on getting the minimal wrist movement that I have loaded early on my shot has helped me quite a bit when I'm doing some of my form shooting progression. So as I'm getting into what we call phase 2 form shooting, I just put the basketball on my hip, flat wrist, and as I start to roll the basketball up, really my quad up into my hip, I'm really concentrating on getting my wrist loaded. And once I feel the basketball start to fall out, that's when I start to put my guide hand on the basketball, and then I'm going up and out into my shot. And you should be able to see a little wrinkle in your wrist when you do this. Again, I have to really concentrate on bringing the ball back a little farther so that I can get my hand underneath the basketball before I follow through on the shot. Some players have a lot more flexibility than this, and they can get this wrist all the way back. Good for you, do your thing. I'm just doing the best that I can, really concentrating on wrinkled wrist early, and then get my hand underneath the ball as I get out into my follow through. And that's our basic phase 2 progression. Ball on the quad area, roll the wrist, boom, so now I got my guide hand on the ball, up and out into my shot, and then I always like to check it. So as I follow through offhand to the top of the forearm, work on some of those small details as far as getting your wrist loaded early on the shot. So when you do come up, you've taken care of business, hand underneath the ball before you take it to the hoop, and now you're good to go. Try it out.